I know I'm not the only one. When certain seasons come along, when certain holidays come along, you kind of reach for certain horror films or certain movies in general. With winter just leaving us, basically, I'm reaching for movies like The Thing, movies like The Shining, Frozen, which was a great horror film from a few years ago that is savage, man. Like, basically, if you're on a ski lift at night and you get forgotten about up there, that's what the movie is about. And it is fucking brutal, and it's bloody, and it's awesome. Even during winter, we got Christmas, and that has its own set of horror films. Movies like Silent Night, Deadly Night, or Black Christmas, or Christmas Evil, or there's just a slew of great Christmas horror films out there. And Halloween time, you got, of course, John Carpenter's Halloween. You got Trick or Treat. You got a slew of great horror shows, from Tales from the Crypt to Twilight Zone to fucking Outer Limits to Goosebumps. Like, there's just a lot of good heavy duty stuff out there to enjoy year round as a fan, and summer is included. So when summer comes along, I'm thinking of really movies that make me sweat, movies that are gross, movies like Hills Have Eyes, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, movies like that just give off that, making you sweat kind of vibe. And this movie does the same to me. And it takes place during summer. I know it's not exactly summer yet, but it's creeping up. It felt like summer the last couple of days, let me tell you. We're talking about Jaws today. Of course, directed by Steven Spielberg, starring Roy Scheider, Robert Shaw, and Richard Dreyfuss as Hooper, Quint, and Chief Brody. Basically, the film, I'm pretty sure everybody's seen the film, but to give you a little bit of a recap if you haven't, it's all about a newly appointed sheriff that just moved from New York City to this small island where he's going to be the sheriff of the island, and he's got a fear of water. Ironically, he's surrounded by water on this island, and we have a shark attack that happens, and he brings in this expert who's played by Richard Dreyfuss, who of course was also in Close Encounters of the Third Kind. But he comes in, and basically this hunt happens, and a shark is captured and killed. But Richard Dreyfuss thinks that it's not the shark that did the actual killing, so they go a little bit further. Another person's killed, and then it is up to Robert Shaw, who plays Quint, this salty old sea captain guy, to come along and sort of be like, listen, here, if you want this done right, you pay me 10 grand. For that, you get the head, the tail, the whole damn thing, kind of thing. You know what I mean? Which, I gotta say, one of the best introductions of a character of all time in cinema is Quint in Jaws, as he scratches his fucking greasy, dirty fingernails on the chalkboard. And basically, they end up having to use Quint to help him catch the shark. So the first half of the movie is a couple of shark attacks and some family drama and some emotional drama happening within Chief Brody's own head, because he feels responsible for this stuff because it's his job. He's the sheriff. Like, he's got to protect these people, right? But the mayor is this scumbag piece of shit, and the news reporter guy's a piece of shit, and it's a summer town. They need those summer dollars, you know what I mean? So they're basically like, listen, if we shut down the beach during the 4th of July weekend, we are going to go bankrupt. So that's the town's fight, right? And Brody, Hooper, and Quint, in the second half of the film, they go out on the boat, and it's them trying to hunt the shark, or hunting the shark down. And I got to admit, it's kind of one of those Full Metal Jacket type moments where you got two halves of a film, one being better than the other, and of course with Jaws, the latter half being the better half of the film, I think, for a lot of people. There are some very good moments in the front half of Jaws, but my God, in that second half you get iconic scenes, iconic lines of dialogue, lines of dialogue like Quint's Indianapolis speech, like where he goes into detail about a tattoo he had on his arm that was removed because it was attached to this traumatizing event that happened to him years ago. You have this scene that leads up to that scene where they're showcasing each other, their scars and all that. Lots of good back and forth between the characters on the boat, and lots of good back and forth between our guys and the shark, who they try to use like these barrels of empty barrels of air to lure, or to keep the shark from going down too deep, keeping an eye on him, kind of thing. Basically working as bobbers if you ever go fishing. But man, I'm telling you, this movie is so monumental to me and so great, because not only is it a great film, but it's also like much like Halloween, an accidental masterpiece. You know what I mean? They just got the right mixture of actors and a great story, and just churned out this awesome awesome film all about this town being plagued by a shark. You know, it's kind of like the coronavirus in a way, like, you know, fucking taking people off, and people just keep wanting to go to the beach. They want to go here, they want to go there, and they won't fucking learn. The only way to get rid of it is to cut off its fucking food supply. You know, people. Yeah, man, Jaws is so iconic of a film, and has the score alone of this film is monumental. Like, it's, who is it by again? John Williams, who did I believe Star Wars and a slew of films for like these kind of guys, George Lucas, Steven Spielberg. But yeah, man, I think if you haven't seen this movie, you're doing yourself a disservice, because it's so well known for a reason. It's so highly respected. Like I said, a movie that should have just been like another killer shark film or whatever, you know. Okay, so in the 50s they were dealing with giant fucking everything, and then, you know, killer spiders, killer snakes, all this kind of shit, and then here comes Jaws, a simple movie about, you know, three guys and a shark, and it just turned out so fucking magical. Great opening shot, or opening scene as well, regarding the girl goes swimming with the guy, passes out, you know, the chick gets eaten by the shark. It's very nerve-wracking, this movie, because it, you know, for a lot of people, it marked traumatic tension in them, and regarding going to a beach, or going to even in a pool, because, you know, there's that underlying thought in your head, like, am I gonna get attacked by a fucking shark here? Because, like, this is some serious heavy duty shit, and, you know, most shark attacks happen in shallow waters. Bill Burr has a good bit where it's like, well, you know, well, that's where all the people are, you know. So it's crazy. This is a good film, man. I highly recommend it. And I would also highly recommend Jaws 2, which is great. I forget who directed that one, but it is good. Jaws 3 and 4, not really interested in those at all, but I could take Jaws 2 for sure, man. So that's about it for my Jaws video. I appreciate everybody for watching and checking out the Facebook page. I know it's been a while since I made some videos, but clearly I posted like 3 or 4 today, so adios.